Over the course of the next week, we're going to be taking a look into every Power 5 conference and discussing the best player from every team in that conference. Yesterday, we talked about the Conference of Champions in the Pac-12. Today, we're going to be talking about the best player from every Big Ten team. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that confusing YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. We'll start off this video with Ohio State and my 2022 Heisman pick, CJ Stroud. He had an incredible freshman season last year for the Buckeyes as he threw for 4,500 yards with 44 passing touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. He finished in the top 5 nationally in passer efficiency rating, touchdown passes, completion percentage, yards per game, and yards per attempt. Additionally, he set Ohio State single-season records for efficiency rating and completion percentage and was second in passing yards and passing touchdowns. After his historic season, Stroud was named the Big Ten's Offensive Player of the Year. He was also a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. We'll go to Michigan next, where I have their best player being running back Blake Corum. Last season for the Wolverines, he rushed for nearly 1,000 yards with 11 rushing touchdowns. He also added 24 receptions for 140 yards and a touchdown while adding 300 yards in the return game. He also did all this while being the number 2 running back on the team. Well, he'll be the number 1 guy in 2022, and I expect him to double his numbers from last season. The coaches named him to a third-team All-Big Ten selection. He was a Paul Hornung Award semifinalist and was named the Offensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten 3 separate times. Up next for Michigan State is wide receiver Jayden Reed. He had quite the 2021 campaign as he was named first-team All-Big Ten by the AP as an all-purpose player. He was second All-Big Ten as a returner by both the coaches and the media, and was third-team All-Big Ten as a wide receiver by the coaches and media. He led the Spartans with career highs in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown catches. He also returned 2 punts for touchdowns. For the season, he caught 59 passes for over 1,000 yards with 10 receiving touchdowns. His 130 total yards per game were the second in the conference, and his 18 yards per play were the highest in the Big Ten and the 7th most in the entire country. Next on the list is Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford. He finished last season with 3,100 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Clifford became the only Penn State quarterback to have 3 games with 250 plus passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns in each of his 2 seasons. He finished 3rd all-time in single-season history for Penn State in passing attempts, 4th in passing yards, 4th in completions, 5th in completion percentage, and 7th in touchdown passes. For the 2021 season, he was 4th in the Big Ten in completions per game, 5th in passing touchdowns and passing yards, and was 6th in total offense. Next up might just be the best running back in the country, in Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen. He had quite the 2021 season as a true freshman, where he emerged as one of the best backs in the conference at the age of 17. His 1,300 rushing yards were the 3rd most in the Big Ten. He averaged just under 7 yards a carry, which was the 2nd highest number in the conference and the 7th best in the entire country. His 12 rushing touchdowns were also the 5th most in the conference. The crazy part is that he put up these insane numbers while totaling only 12 carries through his first 3 games of the season, so essentially all of these numbers were through 10 games. Braylon Allen rushed for at least 100 yards in 8 of his final 9 games and rushed for at least 140 yards 4 separate times. Coming up for Nebraska is inside linebacker Luke Reimer. He led the team with a career-high 108 tackles, including 6 tackles for loss. He also ranked 2nd on the team with 6 pass breakups, had 3 forced fumbles, and intercepted 1 pass. He was the first Husker to have a 100-tackle season since 2018. During the year, he recorded at least 10 tackles in 5 of 11 games, including 4 Big Ten Conference games. His performance earned him an honorable mention All-Big Ten accolade from the conference's coaches and media. In their game against Purdue, Reimer recorded a career-high 19 tackles, the most ever by a Husker in a Big Ten Conference game, and the most by a Husker in any game since 2010. Up next for Northwestern, we have our first offensive lineman, Peter Skoronski. It was a rough season for the Wildcats last year, and it's going to be rough again in 2022. The lone bright spot might be in the trenches, as they have one of the best offensive linemen in the entire Big Ten. In 2021, he was named 2nd team All-Big Ten by the coaches and was named 1st team All-Big Ten by the media. Indiana's best player is going to be brand new quarterback Connor Bazelak, who transferred from Missouri. He jumped onto the scene in 2020 with Missouri when he was named the SEC Co-Freshman of the Year. His numbers took a bit of a step back last season as he threw for 2,500 yards with 16 touchdown passes. It was a rough season for Indiana last year, and just like Northwestern, it's going to be another rough year in 2022. Up next for Purdue is quarterback Aiden O'Connell. He had quite the breakout campaign in 2021 and was one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the entire country. He completed 72% of his passes and threw for over 3,700 yards. He had 28 touchdown passes as well. He found himself in the top 10 in the country in a number of categories. His 315 completions were the third most in the conference and the 10th most in the country. His 72% completion percentage was second in the Big Ten and 5th best in the nation. O'Connell was also third in the conference in passing yards, second in passing touchdowns, and second in passing efficiency rating. We didn't see much of him in 2021, but Minnesota running back Mohamed Ibrahim is one of the best running backs in the entire conference. His season ended after one game because of an ACL injury in 2021, but prior to his injury, he had 160 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns against Ohio State. When we last saw him in a full season in 2020, he rushed for 1,100 yards with 15 rushing touchdowns. He led the Big Ten in rushing attempts, rushing yards, and rushing yards per game, along with rushing touchdowns, scoring, points per game, and all-purpose yards per game. Not to mention, he set a Minnesota school record while averaging 154 yards per game. Up next is Iowa, where defensive back Riley Moss returns for his 5th season. He was named a first-team All-American by Sporting News and was a third-team All-American by the AP. He was named as the Big Ten's Defensive Back of the Year and was a first-team All-Big Ten by the league's coaches and media. Additionally, he was a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. In 2021, he racked up 39 tackles with 3 coming for loss. He had 4 interceptions, 2 of which were returned for touchdowns. In addition, Moss also broke up 5 passes and had a fumble recovery. Maryland quarterback Talia Tagovailoa is next up on our list. He had a record-breaking season for the Terps, setting program single-season records in passing yards with 3,900, completions with 330, completion percentage at a very nice percentage of 69, passing touchdowns with 26, and 300-yard passing games with 7. Tagovailoa also ranks top 25 in the FBS and top 3 in the Big Ten in every passing category. We'll turn to Illinois, where the honor goes to running back Chase Brown. He was named All-Big Ten third team by the coaches, media, and Pro Football Focus. He led Illinois with 1,000 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns while adding 14 receptions for 140 yards. He was third in the Big Ten in rushing yards per game and was 5th in the Big Ten in rushing yards per carry. His rushing yards were the 7th most in the conference, and his all-purpose yards per game were the 7th most as well. We wrapped up the Pac-12 video with a kicker, so we'll wrap up the Big Ten video with a punter. We're going to talk about Rutgers punter Adam Korsak. He broke the school record for the 4th straight year and set an NCAA record with a net punt average of 45.25. He was a finalist for the Ray Guy Award, which goes to the best punter in the entire country. His season earned him first team All-Big Ten by the coaches. So that wraps up today's video for the best players from every Big Ten team. Was there a player on a team that I didn't include? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't done so yet, now is still the perfect time to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.